Welcome to Off the Wall. My name is Trey. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out the show this week. We've got a very, very fun conversation with linebacker Hayden Hatcher, who spent the 2025 season with the Jacksonville Sharks and will be headed to the Southwest United States to play for the Arizona Rattlers this upcoming season. So we dive into his football journey, playing at Kansas. It's some of his side quests, not going to spoil it, but some of the side quests he completed before joining the Sharks last season, crushing it all rookie team in 2025. And so really fun combo with him. I'm excited to see what he does out in Arizona. We'll dive into a couple other things as well. But before we dive into any of that, as everyone knows, it is time for, say it with me, social plugs. That's right. Social plugs. If you don't already, please make sure you're following us at Off the Wall FB. F as in foot, B as in ball, Off the Wall FB. They are in the description below. So just scroll down just a hair right around where you can follow Hayden. You can follow us as well. The NAL season is kicking off this weekend. The IFL season is kicking off next weekend. So now is the time to get engaged, stay engaged, and join the conversation on socials. Again, at Off the Wall FB across Instagram, X/Twitter, TikTok, all the things and stuff. On Facebook, go follow us on there. Come join the conversation. Would love to have you. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff. Call to action. Call to action this week. We've got the NAL kicking off. Who do you think is going to win the NAL title? Drop your predictions in the chat, in the comment section. That way we'll look back on this come June. We'll be able to see who's a genius, who's a dummy, and who was close and maybe who wasn't close at all. So drop it in there. Let me know who you think's going to win the NAL. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, if you're listening there, thank you for doing that as well. Please make sure you're rating the show 5 stars, preferably, but I trust your judgment to rate it accordingly. What else we got? We got offthewallfb.com. Got some blogs up on there. A new one where I dove into the IFL rule book. I read the 63-page rule book, so you didn't have to. So that's live on the website. Go check that out. And then royalretros.com. We have an affiliate link in the description below. So scroll down just a little bit where you were doing all the following and all that stuff before. Click that link. Code Off the Wall, 10% off your purchase. Let me know what cool things and stuff you get. So a lot of people have been utilizing that over the past month or so. So cool to see some of the cool things that people are getting. So let me know what you're diving into. But that's enough of that. Here is the interview with Arizona Rattlers linebacker Hayden Hatcher. All right, on the show this week, we have a rising star in the indoor football world. He spent the 2025 season with the Jacksonville Sharks, where he earned 2025 All-IFL Rookie Team honors at linebacker, and he'll be joining the Arizona Rattlers for the upcoming 2026 season. His name is Hayden Hatcher. Appreciate you coming on the show this week, my man. How excited are you that this offseason is almost over? We can taste it.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me, Trey. It's nice to meet you finally. And I'm really excited. I know it's cliche, but I wish I could be down there right now.
Right.
If I could get there early, I could. I've been ready a month ago. So it's a lot better this off season just because going in, first off, I didn't know much about the arena game, of course, or the indoor game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Second off, like I told you already, I was coming off of surgery, all this stuff, and I was probably only a month cleared from my shoulder surgery. And I was coming in light last year and all that, and it was a real challenge, but the opportunity Jacksonville gave me, I'm like, I got to go out there and ball. So now I can go in fully healthy, got my weight up a little and be ready to play some football.
Let's go. Well, we'll dive into your entire path and this upcoming season with the Rattlers here. But I mean, to get us started, tell us a little bit about yourself, your football journey, and what led you to indoor football.
Yeah, I had a very unique start with football. I actually was a baseball player growing up. I did every sport. I'm from Council Bluffs, Iowa, so you pretty much do every sport that's in season. Nobody really specialized too much when I was younger, because they wouldn't have enough people to field a team. So my dad actually played for the Kansas City Royals when I was young too. So growing up, I was, baseball family and everything. Yeah, he used to be able to hit the long ball. I mean, he still can, but he passed that down to us, and I had baseball dreams. Well, just God's plan working out. I was actually probably better at baseball in high school than I was football. And I was one of those dudes that didn't hit puberty until late. I was a junior on JV for whatever reason. I'm not sure. But then my senior year, I got a start, and balled out. And once football schools started hitting me up for college and everything, the way I saw it was, if I don't have a scholarship, I'm not going to college. It's too expensive and everything. I'll figure something else out. But
Yeah.
once I saw football as an opportunity, I'm like, I like football a lot more. Like, I just didn't think, I always thought that I was a great athlete and stuff, but I figured baseball would be my path. And
Yeah.
once I got a walk-on opportunity at Iowa Western, they just won the Natty last year in junior college. So
right on.
shout out the Reavers and everything.
Yeah.
I live 2 minutes from the campus. So
Okay.
yeah, they let me walk on because they had seen me run track and everything. They were just like, hey, no promises, we're bringing in like 200 people, 60 make the bus. So kind of made the bus on special teams and then worked my way up the depth chart. And I actually got my first D1 offer because, out of high school, I had no offers. I had to walk on every, like I had a couple of D2 offers, couple NAI, everything like that. After my first year at JUCO, I was talking to my coach and I'm like, I never really went to any football camps. I'd go to the baseball camps. Dudes don't know how to run at the baseball camps. They could look fluent as ever at shortstop, but then they go to run a 60 and they look discombobulated. So I was like, I need to go to a football camp because I know I can bust off some good times, whatever I need to do. And he actually told me to sign up for the Nebraska Friday Night Lights camp. And that was out in Lincoln, Nebraska. It's only like an hour away from me. And I went there as a junior college guy, which I think I might have been the only junior college dude. And I was only a year older than everyone, but I actually busted off like a 4.47. And
wow.
Yeah, that was back when I was like 220. And all of a sudden my life changed forever after that camp. They invited me to a padded camp the next day. And I went to bed with a Nebraska offer. I woke up and I probably had like 50 D1 coaches on my Twitter. And it was just like,
wow.
Yeah, it was a surreal feeling. And, Les Miles was at that camp and he was actually the first to like technically offer me because everyone else was offering me for the 2020 year. Like during that camp, Nebraska, Miami, like it was an Adidas pipeline camp. So all these Adidas schools were there.
Right.
And Coach Miles pulled me aside. This is like 2 weeks before fall camp starts. It's like a summer camp, He goes, I want you to come down for this year. We're going to figure out a way to put you on scholarship this year. You're going to come visit. And in 2 weeks, you're going to call your mom and tell her, hey, Mom, I'm staying down in Lawrence, Kansas. I'm going to play linebacker for the Jayhawks. And to be honest, that's really what happened. So
wow.
That was a crazy journey when I was younger, going from like walking on and then in a year getting an opportunity like that. And I loved Coach Miles. It was a shame he couldn't finish out with us, but I think he was at his point in his life where he was ready to move on. And I can't say enough good things about him. He was the first D1 coach to really believe in me. And Coach Leipold's staff came in and they kind of re-recruited me, and decided Kansas was a good spot to be at because I don't know if you've ever visited. Where are you from?
I'm from Florida originally, but I've been to Lawrence, Kansas, and it is a nice little town.
Okay,
yes, it's very nice. Yeah,
perfect. So I don't have to describe it too much. You know what I'm talking about. It's a magical place. So when I visited there and everything like that, it made the decision easy once Leipold came in. It's like, well, I love the university, and I think I still have an opportunity to play. I mean, when I came in, it was kind of like they would pack the basketball games out, but they wouldn't pack the football games out. Well, that's because the football team was losing. So we win some games, they'll sell it out. And what do you know? Like a couple years later, we win some games and we were hosting college game day and stuff. So I can't I had the time of my life at Kansas. Even though
sounds like it.
Yeah, my last season, I got hurt and everything. Didn't end the way I wanted it to. I was able to finish it out and we won a bowl game for the first time since 2008 though. So that was nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
You left the program in a better spot than when you found it. So what more could you do, right?
Our strength coaches used to always say that. You must have been talking to Coach Sleeve. Leave it better than you found it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's funny to hear that like in a month span you went from should I go to this camp to oh my gosh, I'm getting offered and I'm on this team that's kicking off in 2 months, right?
Yeah, and it was really surreal for me because the first camp my dad went to and then the second camp my mom went to, and the one my mom went to, she got to witness everything happen. And growing up, I really had to confide in them because a lot of my coaches in high school didn't believe in me. I'd ask them to
Yeah.
send out my film. They'd tell me I'm not even good enough for a D2 school to see my film and stuff like that. So yeah, it always kind of rubbed me the wrong way for whatever reason, but I'm blessed that it happened because it made me play the way that I play. Every time I went out there, I remembered being the junior on JV, and I wanted to just dominate on JV so that they're like, we can't let this guy play JV anymore. He's going to get people hurt. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the mindset I still play with to this day, even though
Yeah.
it was years ago and I don't hold a grudge. It's like that chip on my shoulder has always been there. And I think that's really what set me apart.
Yeah, it's good to have that internal motivation where, all right, I need to turn it up a notch. You've got that in your back pocket at all times.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when people are saying it to your face. Then once people start telling you that you're great, you got to kind of look internally for your motivation.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was doing some research and I found a quote from an article that was published back when you got offered and committed, and it made me crack up reading it. It said you said, "I love football a lot more than baseball because you can actually hit people and play with emotion in football compared to baseball, where if you do that, you'll get in trouble." I was like, that's the mindset you want in a linebacker and a defensive end, wherever you are on the defense. That's that mentality you want. So when I read that, I'm like, of course, he's crushing it in the IFL. That's his mindset.
You did do your research, man. And the reason I said that is because I've probably been kicked out of more baseball games than I can count. It was like whatever it was, running over the catcher or whatever. And yeah, in football, you get praised for that. So
yeah, exactly. It's like, good job, pal. Yeah. But speaking on all those different sports you played growing up, are there some elements from each of those sports that you kind of keep with you and kind of like help mold the player that you are that the Rattlers will be seeing in 2026?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I could go on for the whole show about that. Like baseball, it's such a cerebral sport, and it really having a dad that played in the major leagues, it really gave me an advantage just mentally because baseball is a mental sport. You've got to be mentally tough. You strike, you go up to bat 10 times, you hit 3 of them, and you're a Hall of Famer. So it's like a sport that you're constantly failing. And no, to me, you'd be hard pressed to find another sport that's as mentally like taxing as baseball because you're constantly failing, you're constantly playing. And the mental side of things that I learned how to be a cerebral athlete more than just a physical athlete from baseball, I carry with me. I played basketball, but I was never too good at that when I was younger. And track, of course, track speed and everything, running and stuff. I had such good competition in high school too, being from a small town. I went to high school with Max Duggan, the quarterback from TCU, and he was a year younger than me. And he was a dude that was always the fastest dude, and I could compete with him in the 100. And he'd get me in the 200, but I'd beat him in the 100. And it was that kind of thing. And just having great athletes. I mean, like Logan Jones for Iowa, the center. I went to high school with him, and he was another dude that he played all these sports, and being able to carry over from track or like wrestling. I only wrestled for a year. They finally got me to wrestle my senior year, and God honest, I wouldn't have made it as far as football if it wasn't for wrestling. Just the things that I had learned, everything like that. I have the utmost respect for wrestlers, especially in Iowa. They take it real serious here. So that was that was a fun experience.
Yeah, of all the states, Iowa's the one where it's like, all right, you get a singlet the moment you turn 3 years old in some places in Iowa. It's crazy out there.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. They always would see me working out while they were practicing because our wrestling room was with our weight room. The coaches were on me like, come on, we need a 220. We need a 220. I only weighed 200 pounds. And I'm like, well, I'm not cutting weight. And they're like, all right, fine. Like, come out and wrestle. We won't try and get you to cut down to 195.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And I want to touch on your time in Kansas a little bit more. You mentioned Lawrence, obviously a wonderful little town. It's like very Main Street USA vibes down there. It's just such a cool town. But you had a unique experience where you touched on it, where you had a coaching change midway through the career. you hear a lot about it from the coach's perspective, but what was that like from the player's perspective? Like, how did that go down? And what was like some of the options you were weighing? I'm like, should I stay? Should I go? Like, what would that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough that the transfer portal wasn't as crazy as it is now. Because if it
Mhm.
was, I kind of got to see it grow. And at that point, if it was as crazy as it was now, I probably would have just left, saw my options
Yeah.
elsewhere. But when Coach Leipold came in, it was kind of tough. There was a lot of dudes that, you know, would run through a brick wall for Coach Miles. I mean, literally,
Mhm.
like they'd go out there and kill for Coach Miles, and I was one of them. So when we got this
Yeah.
new guy coming in, it was just kind of a sour taste. And he came in, and Coach Leipold, he's not a guy that's going to come in and try and like rub elbows with everyone. He was coming in and letting everyone know, like, some of you are not going to be here when the fall starts. I'm going to change everything. You're either going to, I can't remember the exact term it was. Basically, they were talking about weeding people out. Like, you're either going to get right or get left. And
Dang, what a
yeah,
quote.
I mean, he was a very like he was a very stern coach when he first came in, and it was like from the jump there was no like, hey guys, nice to meet you, everything like that. After a spring practice, he came in and kind of laid down the law, and I got respect for it because it weeded a ton of dudes out for
I
whatever
believe it.
reason.
Yeah.
And he was somebody that it was real tough love, but then as he kind of established his culture, got his guys in, we got to know people a little bit. He was an amazing coach, and I have a lot of respect for him because that's not an easy job
Oh,
coming in
no. Yeah.
culture. And he's the kind of guy that isn't necessarily there to make friends. He's there to change the culture, and I believe that it's shown.
Yeah, just seeing what he did at Buffalo before he came over to Kansas, I was like, this is the guy.
Yeah,
Like even like I went to UCF, so a different Big 12 school. So even coming from that perspective, I was like, this is the guy. If anybody can do it, he's the one. So it's really awesome to see what he's been able to do there.
yeah. I mean, and Coach Sleeve too. He's a real unsung guy that a lot of people don't know about. He's the strength coach. He's a
Yeah.
guy that is also not just focused on the physical aspect. He's more focused on your mental. And I think that changed a lot. A lot of the dudes that did end up staying, I think we can all say we grew as young men, not just players, from Coach Sleeve. So the staff that he has there and everything, I can't say enough about him.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And what do you remember the most about your time in Lawrence when you look back on the five, was it 4 5 years that you were there?
The fan support was really awesome. Like it really
Yeah.
felt, I'm from Iowa, and when we go up and play Iowa State, all the Cyclone fans would talk crap. Like I left Iowa. Iowa State never offered me. So I don't,
Right. Yeah.
I grew up a Hawkeye fan anyways. So I'm like, you guys don't even own your state. What are you talking to me
Yeah.
for?
Yeah.
But like,
What are we doing?
uh, yeah, but Kansas, it was just such a unique college town. And, all the people I met along the way, there's so many helpful people to just live and breathe like rock chalk and everything. And
Yeah.
that to me, what I'll remember most is the relationships, of course, and then
Yeah.
the memories of that first time I ran out to a packed stadium. I think the first time we sold out a stadium was against Duke. I think we were coming in like 3-0 or 4-0. We were both undefeated. And
Hmm.
to go back and be the 19-year-old kid that was getting recruited in, kind of seeing what the games looked like before I got there compared to seeing a packed out crowd, people up the hill. When we had
Right.
college game day there against TCU, people were camping out for our buses on like Thursday waiting for us. And it
That's
was
nuts.
just, I would say those games I'll never forget just because it
Yeah.
was it was surreal to see such a change in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, leaving it better than you found it. I mean,
Mhm.
it's crazy to look back and see that change. But before we dive into indoor football and all that, I was again doing some research, scrolling the socials, and 2024 seemed to be quite the gap year for you between college ball and starting your IFL career.
Mhm.
And you probably know what I'm about to ask, and I don't know which one to start with, so I'll just dive into the WWE first. Did you had a tryout with the WWE?
Yeah, and that was quite the experience. I met a ton of cool people throughout that.
Yeah.
I growing up, my mom, it's funny because my brother's a linebacker too. He's a physical dude, bigger than me, taller than me. I'm still
okay. Yeah.
Shout out Wyatt. But anyways, she always is like, I don't want you watching WWE. I don't want you to grow up to be violent. Well, then, we started watching it in like 8th grade, and like I guess she was right. We both turned out to be linebackers. Yeah. But I loved it. Like Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar, those are my guys. I love the heat, man. I love the dudes that were just like the legend killer. I'll still listen to Randy Orton's theme song and get me pumped up. That's what on the post I put his theme song. But it was an interesting. I had a really good first game, my 5th year at Kansas. Against who was it? Missouri State. And then before the Illinois game, or after the Illinois game, one of the two, the WWE reached out to one of our NIL guys. It's like, hey, we want to ink an NIL deal, all this stuff. And of course I'm going, oh yeah, whatever NIL deal, you want to do. Right. I had one with Pro at the time. So I'm like, okay, whatever we want to do. And my NIL guy actually ended up moving schools. So I kind of lost that contact. Okay. Well, they reached out to me over Instagram, and they were like, hey, long message about how we think we love your image. You perfectly fit the mold of what we're looking for as an athlete and just your image. So would you like to fly out and try out for the WWE? And, at first I'm reading it like, is this account verified? Do they just buy it?
Right, yeah. You're getting trolled.
Once I found out it was real, I couldn't type yes fast enough. And that was a very unique experience.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. Did you already have like a wrestling name picked out? Were you gonna rock a luchador mask? What were you thinking?
I was going with a Haymaker. That's my nickname for
the Haymaker.
School. Yeah, Haymaker. laying the head stuff. I don't know. I definitely thought about it. I thought it out for a long time. And unfortunately, during the tryout, I had put off my shoulder surgery. I put it off for the pro day. And then once I was trying to get signed to a camp, but then any team that called about me, like, we can get Hayden on a flight now, sign an undrafted free agent deal. Well, I couldn't pass a physical because of my shoulder. It was torn in 3 places. So,
wow, okay.
I did the WWE tryout with the torn shoulder, thinking it's just that's not going to be that crazy. Shoulder popped out in one of the first sessions. So
man,
I ended up during the 3-day thing just doing my mic skills, cutting promos and everything. And from there, obviously I wasn't gonna get signed. I couldn't do any of the physical stuff, but they told me like, we'd love to have you back when you're fully healthy and everything. So it's not completely out of the question, but
yeah. That's incredible. Yeah, well, yeah, after football, we might be seeing you in a squared circle, huh? That's what I'm hearing.
If I'm lucky,
Yeah. Well, not only did you get that tryout with WWE, but you were in a State Farm commercial as well. Like, what? 2024 was just full of side quests for you.
Yeah,
how did that come about?
You get bored when you're not playing football, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that was an interesting situation as well, because that one, the way it started off was they just needed some extras way back during there was like the Mahomes Auto one with like Travis Kelce. And then there was another one where it's just Mahomes in the locker room with Jay. I was an extra in that. And I actually got my buddy, some of my teammates to come be an extra. Cause I'm like, they're looking for football players, dudes that look like football players. What better than actual football players?
Yeah,
so
right.
A couple of us were extras in it. And after that, they kind of keep you in the system if you do a good job. They hit me up. Would you like to audition for this next one? So I went and auditioned. A couple of my buddies did, thinking, oh, we're not going to get it. Maybe we'll get a backup part, And I got a call back for the principal role, which means whatever I had to learn what that meant and everything. Go back to Kansas City, try out again. I actually got the part. I was like one of 2 people. And since we're arena football, I should tell you, my boy Israel Watson, he signed with Nas, I believe. He's a receiver. Okay. He was the other guy in the commercial with me. Because he played ball at K-State, and he's on the other side. He's actually in the commercial way more than me. We filmed for 9 hours, and I'm only in it for a couple seconds. But it was a really cool experience, like meeting Mahomes and stuff. Like, he's such a cool dude, like down to earth and everything. Same with Jake.
Yeah.
State Farm's a bro. So that was, dipping my feet in the acting and everything. That's also something I'm interested in the future. And being out in Arizona, I'm only like 5 hours away from LA. So
Yeah.
something I can do in my off time.
Yeah, a little weekend getaway on a bye week. Go do some auditions, see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, from side quest to side quest, you eventually found your way over to the Indoor Football League. But growing up in Council Bluffs, did you know about arena football growing up, especially with some of the teams that are from Iowa and in that region?
Well, of course, I knew about the Barnstormers and Kurt
Mhm.
Warner. I mean, he's a legend in Iowa.
Yeah.
Of course, I knew about that. And yeah, when you go to the Barnstormers, they only tell you like 15 times that Warner played there in the first quarter.
Yeah, right.
So you're gonna know either way. But
Yep.
growing up, I know the Nighthawks were a thing here, because I'm from Council Bluffs. Pretty much, I'm like I could walk to Omaha right now.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I know about the Beef as well. They've hit me up and everything, but that was kind of my taste of. I'd never went to a game or anything, but I knew what it was. But it wasn't really until the Sharks hit me up. I was watching it, and I was like, okay, this indoor league seems a little different than like the normal arena league. Like this seems like I could get some film that would actually translate. I'm watching the games, and I was kind of 50-50. Am I going to sign, or am I going to try and complete some other side quests until, because until I get healthy, I got good college film, maybe just hopefully get signed later. But once I saw my buddy Puka signed to Mass, I played with him at Kansas.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, that dude's an amazing running back. So if they've got talent like that in this league, I'm definitely going to go give it a shot.
Yeah. Yeah, Puka's one hell of a running back, and I'm glad you gave it a shot because you obviously translated pretty well in that first year. What led you to sign with the Sharks? Did you have any other interest, any other potential offers out there?
Yeah, I was actually real close to signing with the Barnstormers. It's like a backup plan, being from Iowa. Mogensen, he's real good dude. I got a lot of respect for him, and he was real understanding throughout the whole process. Well, a former CFL scout that actually was on me for my pro day, I think he left whatever organization he was with, and he was just kind of out of football. And he told me like, "Look, man, I think you're a dog. I would have tried to sign you out of that if I was still there. I got a couple teams that would be interested in you." And he gave me a couple different teams. And then all of a sudden, he called me just out of the blue and goes, "Hey, Coach Gibson from the Sharks is going to give you a call. You got to answer. That's the team you want to go with. Like, forget every other team," I said. "That's the team you go with." And I was like, I guess when you got a CFL scout telling you that, it's hard to argue that,
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
And to me, it was kind of a no-brainer just because I've grown up in Iowa my whole life. And I think the Barnstormers, their brand and everything is terrific. But I wanted a new adventure, go down to Florida and, make a name for myself. Because people know me around here. They don't know me down in Florida. So I want to go challenge myself and be around some good competition, see what comes of it.
Yeah, that's funny to hear that because like even this past offseason, you see, I think Jacksonville had like 3 or 4 people get signed up to the next level. So
yeah,
I
give credit to Anthony Tanza. He's the player personnel guy there. He's
a
younger dude, and he's kind of hip with the times and stuff. And I think the reason a lot of them are getting signed, I mean, it's before they even step foot into a Sharks uniform because he's recruiting guys that are CFL, UFL, NFL level talent.
For sure,
so no surprise that they're getting signed. And, he's just got to, okay, yeah, that's great. Go ahead. And now he's got to find someone new.
Yeah, it seems like the players that Jacksonville brings in, it's like if we can hold on to this guy until camp, that would be a blessing. Like that would be a big win. But some folks get snatched up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what were some of the adjustments that you had to make to get acclimated to the indoor style at the linebacker position?
Well, I always wanted to play linebacker. I got stuck at D end at Kansas just because that's what the team needed. That's what Leipold wanted me to do. And I was good at it, but I always saw myself, if I'm going to translate to the pros, I believed I could better use my speed and size at linebacker. And so I transitioned to linebacker, but I hadn't played it since 2019, maybe. I had been an edge guy my whole career. The only time I played middle linebacker was like the beginning of fall camp when I first got to KU. So, but I knew I could do it. I knew it would translate. That's where I'm comfortable. That's where my instincts are like the sharpest, I think. And the arena game was very interesting because not only was I getting used to linebacker again, I was getting used to being the only linebacker, getting used to the belt, whatever, whatever that was. I was like, what are you talking about? And then luckily the rules changed that we could blitz different gaps. Otherwise, I would have just had to blitz the same gap, what have you. Coach Clay, he had to explain to me. I got the utmost respect for him. He's a great coach. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him as a head coach somewhere. He came in and he was real hard on me at first, but it's because he knew I could translate well. And he's like, all right, well, here, you got the A gap here, but if it's pass, you got to drop all the way back here. And it's like, whoa, there's some serious run pass conflicts, but that's not the defense. That's just the lead. That's the nature of the game. You got 8 guys on the field, tiny 50-yard field. The run game is like now because you can't line up. You can't line up close to 5, and you can't jump. That's my line of scrimmage. So I got caught a couple times for the lean and everything. So I say the belt and the pace of the game was a little bit of a shock because of how tight everything is. But once I got used to it, I actually think it helped me because I like being a part of every play. I can go sideline to sideline. It's not like an outdoor where they can kind of run away from you.
Yeah.
You're going to have to see me right, left, or middle. So
yeah, you can't scheme out the linebacker. He's going to be in the mix.
Yeah, teams tried to crack me last year, but Coach Clay told me, he's like, hey, just put it on film. First couple dudes to try and crack you, take their head off, put their cleats in the bleachers. Then they're going to see it on film, and they're not going to want to crack you. And
they're not going to want to do that.
Right.
No.
Some dudes, I'll give it – some dudes have some heart. They try to crack, but I try to make it a point. I don't want to get crack blocked. So
yeah, for sure. Well, for the 2026 season, it's looking like the lean is no longer going to be an illegal defense. So
shout out to them for getting out.
Let's go. Hooking up the defense finally was something. The offense has enough.
When you're wearing a big old knee brace too, and sometimes you're lean, and that's,
there's no stopping it once it starts.
The reviewing was wild to me.
That was the part where I was like, come on. They're throwing a challenge flag, hoping something accidentally happened. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? But yeah, hearing the change over to linebacker, and it seems like the experience of that pass rush and that physicality that you got playing defensive end at Kansas really worked out with that first year with the Sharks, and obviously worked out all rookie team for the league last year and heading into this year. But the Shark Tank, that seemed like a damn good home environment in the IFL, one of the best fan bases in all of indoor football. Do you have any memorable moments from any home games or anything that sticks out when you think back about it?
I have a lot, and I love the Shark Tank. To me, Jacksonville, I'm very excited to go out to Arizona. But one thing about Jacksonville, and I'm sure I'll get this in Arizona too, is the fans are just diehard. And, I'm sitting there thinking it's kind of a step, not knowing anything about the league. I'm thinking it's going to be a real step down in environments. I'm used to playing in Texas, like 100 people packed. I'm going to go to this and be playing in some hockey rink, whatever. I go out there, there's like 8,000 people. They know who I am. They know all this stuff about me, and they're giving me gifts, all this. Like, the support that they have down there is crazy, especially with they have an NFL team. So it's not like they don't have a team.
Right.
They love it down there. And I'd say the most memorable thing for me was I got sick after our very first game in Mass, and I had to get like all kinds of stuff done to me to get ready to play against Vegas. And they're like, we really need you for Vegas, good team, all this stuff. We had a goal line stand in Vegas, and we ended up shutting them out after that, I believe. They didn't score more than 19, and shutting out a team after we had heard so much about their offense, holding them to 19 points was crazy. And then after that, one of the fans nicknamed me the Punisher, and then I never heard the end of that. All my buddies, KB, Chris, Marcus, never let me hear the end of that. So that, to me, that's got to be one of my most memorable moments. Well,
there's another wrestling name for you to fall back on, the Punisher.
I can't go with that one. I can't go. We got to come up. We got to go with something new here in AZ.
Yeah, we'll think about it. Yeah, we'll think tank. Well, you're going from one incredible fan base, like you said, to another in Arizona. You signed up with them for the 2026 season, arguably the most iconic franchise in all of indoor and arena football. What did the free agency process look like for you, and how'd you end up deciding to go from one coast to the other, basically?
Well, it was kind of the same thing as last year. As I wanted a challenge, I wanted a new environment, I wanted to go meet new people and everything. And to me, I kind of made Jacksonville my home. I was living out there during the off season. Now I met my girlfriend down there, so I loved Florida, and I thought, if I'm gonna be playing indoor ball, it's gonna be here. But throughout the free agency process, talking with Arizona, I was like, gosh, this sounds like a pretty good opportunity. And at the end of the day, like, I think this arena ball is an amazing brand. It's amazing content, like watching the games and stuff. I'll be watching the games when I'm done playing, for sure. It's an exciting brand of football that needs more attention. But at the same time, the reason we're in this league is because we want to move up. And so I figured I had a good season with Jacksonville, everything like that. If I want to move up, I feel like I need to go somewhere else and see if there's a other opportunity, because I feel like I played a season with Jax, didn't move up, and I was like, the stuff Arizona had to offer as far as the facilities and everything, it's hard to beat, because like you said, they've been around for a very long time. A lot of people know about Arizona, the Rattlers and everything. So to me, I loved Jacksonville, but I just felt like it wouldn't hurt to put me in front of a new market, new eyes and everything. And, to be honest, I think Arizona's going to win. I think we're going to win. And I was signing there. I was like, oh, they got a great coach, obviously. Not a good coach, a great coach. How many dudes are in the Hall of Fame and coaching? Yeah,
one of the very best. Yeah.
That's insane. But then I knew it for sure, because I was talking to Ron Brown before he re-signed. He's like, he told me he liked it. Isaiah Coe, he went to Iowa Western. I think he's on the Stallions now. He told me about AZ. And then I saw Max sign too. Like, I had already signed, but when I saw Max sign too, I'm like, well, yeah, we're winning this thing. So that's what really attracts me to Arizona, is I want to win a championship. And I think with the Rattlers, we're gonna have a very good chance.
Yeah, it's last year was a good year for the Rattlers, but not a great one. And some of the moves that have been made, it's like, all right, gloves are off for this upcoming season. It's going to be every week is going to be an absolute throwdown. There's going to be some haymakers thrown every week in Arizona. So it's going to be fun to watch. But I mean, you're an absolute ball player out there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you got in 2026, especially with this being a fully healthy offseason for you and going into it with everything clicking. For the folks in Arizona that might not know you yet, what can you tell those fans? What can you tell fans of the IFL about what to expect this upcoming season?
A championship. I really believe, talking to some of the guys, some of the coaches and everything, I believe this is a championship team. And obviously it's a championship brand, got a championship coach, players that have played in really big games, really big environments. To me, it's either a championship or bust this year.
Yeah, that's the way the Arizona Rattlers roll year in and year out. So it's exciting to see, exciting to see you get out there in that all black, the all white, like let's talk about the uniforms real quick. The uniforms for Arizona, those are pretty nice. Does that play a role in the offseason when you're trying to pick a team? You're like, all right, this one not as cool as this one. Like, you can be honest with us.
I want to be mature and say, no, of course not. But I'll be real with you. I mean, it's that, like, definitely if it came down to splitting hairs and stuff, and I'm looking and I'm like, gosh, yeah, that all black and all white is clean.
It looks nice. Yeah, throw in a copper helmet too, and man, we're in business. Well, I'm going to be out in Arizona for, I think, the season opener. So I'll definitely come say hey to you pregame. Folks watching, listening to this, scroll down just a little bit. Go give Hayden a follow on socials. Let him know you heard him on Off the Wall, and follow his journey and all of his side quests that I'm sure he'll get into during the season and during this off season, or after the 2026 season. But Hayden, really appreciate you taking the time to hop on here, and we'll talk soon. And best of luck this upcoming year. Okay.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me and having the show. Like I said, I appreciate what you post, all that. So anything you need from me, I'm here.
Thank you so much again to Hayden for joining the show and talking about his football journey and trying out for WWE and State Farm commercials with Patrick Mahomes, and might be setting himself up for a wrestling career after football, might be setting himself up for an acting career after football. I'm sure some of the side quests that he'll find himself in Arizona will be very fun to watch. So make sure you're following him on socials and you're following along on all of his side quests and all of his on-field adventures. Heading into the season, like we talked about, fully healthy, not recovering off of a shoulder surgery like he was last year, and he should be even more dominant than he was in 2025 for this upcoming 2026 season. So thanks again to Hayden. Make sure you're giving him a follow. We'll dive into some IFL first. We got the IFL kicking off in a couple of weeks, and I've mentioned it on some streams, but not sure if I've mentioned it on the show or how long it's been. It all is a blur at times, but March 14th is the season opener for the IFL in Fishers. Quad City Steamwheelers versus the Fishers Freight, and Off the Wall will be in the building for that game. So super excited to go experience a home game in Fishers. It looked like they had an incredible home atmosphere last year, and these are looking like two of the best teams in the Eastern Conference for this upcoming 2026 season. So going to make the trek up to Fishers and hopefully meet up with some folks. So if you're in Fishers, you're going to be at the game, come say hi, come find me. And yeah, I'm super excited to capture some content, do some interviews, do all sorts of fun stuff. So if there's anything you want to see from an IFL home game, from a Fishers Freight home game, let me know. Throw it in the comments. I'll do my best to fulfill any and all requests. And then flipping over to the NAL regular season is upon us. We've got a full slate of games ahead this weekend. We've got 5 games going down, but 2 of them are league games. So NAL versus NAL teams. So we've got the Colorado Spartans taking on the Pueblo Punishers, and we got the Amarillo Warbirds taking on the Louisiana Rougarou. So first 2 regular season games of the NAL 2026 campaign are here. Colorado Pueblo is going to be a very interesting game to watch because Colorado is looking like one of the better teams in the NAL roster-wise, but games are not played on paper. They're played on turf. So Pueblo already has a preseason game to kind of knock the rust off a little bit. So will that play into their favor, taking on Colorado in this first Rocky Mountain Clash or whatever this rivalry is going to be called between these 2 teams based in Colorado? But then Amarillo Warbirds versus Louisiana Rougarou. Louisiana had a preseason game last week as well. Had a chance to knock the rust off a little bit. Amarillo looking like a wild card team where they could be decent. They could bottom out. We don't know what they're going to look like. So this is our opportunity to get a chance to see what that's going to be. They're going to be playing the games on the NAL network. We've also got the Omaha Beef taking on the St. Joe's Bucks. So it's been a couple years since the Omaha Beef defeated a non-league opponent at home. That's a poor Minneapolis Warriors joke. I'm sorry. The anniversary just passed not too long ago. Cut me some slack. But Omaha is going to have a chance to knock the rust off. The Northwest Iowa Lightning are going to Sioux City to face the Sioux City Bandits. And then Team Mexico is going to face the Dallas Bulls. So the entire country of Mexico is facing the Dallas Bulls. I don't know. We'll see what this looks like, but we're here. The NAL is kicking off this week. So let me know what games you are going to be watching, and I'll be watching right alongside with you. So make sure you're following us on all of our socials to make sure you're plugged in, and we can have some live commentary and live back and forth on what we're watching in real time. So that's the show this week. A lot of teams are in training camp. IFL teams are starting to get into training camp. Obviously, NAL teams have been in training camp for a little bit now as they're kicking off their season this upcoming weekend. So not a lot of transactions and coaching hires and this and that and all that. So not a lot to dive into. So we've got a whirlwind of content over these next 7 days or so. Doing an IFL preview with the World of Football guys. Going to be doing an IFL preview with the podcast Barely Maintaining. So excited to chat with them. Just did a live stream of Arena Football Weekly, which is a new show that I've been doing with Adam Pelletier. So go check that out on the YouTube page if you haven't already. We talked about the NAL and did a little NAL preview on there. What else do we got? Got some very exciting interviews lined up for next week as well. We'll have an IFL preview show on Off the Wall with recurring friend of the program, Alex Schuberth from Sports Coast to Coast. So excited to dive into a ton of IFL football over these next couple of days, leading into the season kickoff on March 14th in Fishers, Indiana. So socials at Off the Wall FB, F as in foot, B as in ball, Off the Wall FB. Please make sure you're following us on there and join the conversation. offthewallfb.com, Royal Retros. It's all in the description. Go click through, beep boop, all that stuff. And yeah, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you think is going to win the NAL this upcoming season. Drop your hot takes now. That way we'll look back in June and see who was right. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 5 stars preferably, but hey, I trust you. Do your thing. But there's only 24 hours in a day. The fact that you chose to spend about 43 minutes watching this, listening to this means a ton. So super excited that indoor and arena season is upon us. NAL's kicking off this weekend, IFL the weekend after. So we'll see you on socials, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Have a great rest of your week.